Bear Mountain King. Professional freeloader. The sixth trial of the 81 calamities. Protagonist: Bear Mountain King. Weapon: giant spirit war spear. Characteristics: the king of freeloading, highly calculative and loves to stockpile food. Weaknesses: although a demon, he doesn't have any special abilities, and his combat skills are only slightly better than those of an ordinary black bear. General Yin dug a trap, lying in wait like a hunter for his prey. How could Tang Sanzang and his two mortal disciples see through such a scheme? As expected, they fell right into the trap, delivering themselves to the enemy. Seeing that Tang Sanzang had taken the bait, General Yin led his band of demons out from the woods and surrounded the trap, watching Tang Sanzang with glee. Trapped in the pit, Tang Sanzang looked up and was instantly terrified. When he first fell into the trap, he thought he had encountered mountain bandits. But now he realized that the one who set the trap was actually a demon with a tiger's face and a human body, leading a group of grotesque little demons. Tang Sanzang thought to himself, this is it. If it were just bandits, I might lose some money or at worst my life. But with these tiger and wolf demons, I'm almost certainly going to end up as breakfast. Sure enough, after the demons captured Tang Sanzang and his disciples, they tied them up tightly like sticky rice dumplings and took them back to their cave. Then they set up a large pot and started boiling water. One of Tang Sanzang's disciples remarked, "It looks like these demons are planning to have a hot pot. In a moment, they'll probably slice us up for it." The other disciple said, "That can't be right. At the very least, you need some dipping sauce if you're going to have hot pot." As soon as he finished speaking, they saw a little demon pull out a jar of sesame paste and another jar of chive flour sauce from who knows where. Tang Sanzang immediately fell into despair, and then he heard another disciple say, "They don't even have fermented tofu. These demons really don't appreciate fine dining." Though Tang Sanzang was usually patient, he couldn't hold back any longer and scolded, "You are all monks. How is it that each of you knows so much about hot pot?" The three were in the midst of discussing hot pot when they suddenly heard a loud commotion outside the cave. Soon 2 demons entered. One was a pitch-black bear monster, as if he had just emerged from a coal mine, named Bear Mountain King. The other was a blue bull demon with horns on his head and a ring through his nose, named Treacherous. Upon seeing these 2 demons, Tang Sanzang and his disciples were even more terrified. Little did Tang Sanzang know it was the arrival of Bear Mountain King that would offer them a glimmer of hope. The gourmet disciple ended up becoming the demon's gourmet meal. Bear Mountain King and General Yin were friends, but the kind of friends who bonded over food and drink. Bear Mountain King, a bear demon who had gained sentience, was strong but not very agile and rather lazy. Because of this, he seldom caught any decent prey, and often settled for a meal of corn cob and some honey. However, Bear Mountain King had a craving for meat. So what did he do? He would often visit the more skilled hunter, General Yin, to freeload off his catches. That day, Bear Mountain King was napping in his cave when he was suddenly awakened by loud commotion outside. It was clearly the demons under General Yin making all the noise. Annoyed, Bear Mountain King pulled the covers over his head and tried to go back to sleep. But after just half a minute, he suddenly sat up in bed and muttered to himself, "So much noise this early in the morning and they sound pretty excited. Must have caught some prey. I can't miss out on this meal. I need to hurry before it's too late." With that, Bear Mountain King quickly jumped out of bed, rubbed his face, and got ready to head out. Just as he reached the cave entrance, Bear Mountain King stopped and murmured to himself, "I feel a bit embarrassed always freeloading, but with food right in front of me, I can't just pass it up. What should I do?" He paced back and forth at the entrance, seemingly trying to come up with a solution. After a while, he suddenly slapped his forehead and said, "That's it? I'll invite the Blue Bull Demon to join me in freeloading." When one person does something awkward, the embarrassment is all on himself. But when 2 people do something awkward, the embarrassment shifts to the other person, and in the end, nobody feels awkward. With that, Bear Mountain King found the Blue Bull Demon, and together they headed to General Yin's place to mooch a meal. The two of them arrived at the entrance of General Yin's lair and shouted, "Brother Yin, your big brothers are here to visit you." General Yin inwardly cursed, "These two gluttons. They're not here to see me, they're just here to mooch a meal." But since they were fellow demons paying a visit, he had no choice but to greet them with a forced smile and said, "My dear brothers, it's been a while. What have you been up to lately?" Bear Mountain King replied, "I've been eating vegetarian every day lately." Just then he noticed Tang Sang and his disciples tied up like Zongzi and asked, "What's the deal with these three?" General Yin replied, "Their breakfast delivered right to our doorstep." Taichushi quickly asked, "Then you better treat us today." General Yin said, "No problem." Then he immediately ordered his underlings to prepare the meal. Seeing that the little demons were about to cook all three of them, Bear Mountain King quickly said, "Two will be enough, leave one." The reason for his sudden request was that, as a bear demon, he retained the habit of storing food. Despite having become a demon, his old habits lingered. Old habits die hard after all. General Yin thought Bear Mountain King's suggestion made sense and nodded in agreement. But who should be spared and who should be eaten? General Yin had his own plans. He thought, "The monk in charge has a tender, delicate flesh and looks quite appetizing. I'll save him for my next meal and eat the two darker, thinner ones first." Thus, Tang Sang's two disciples became the demon's next meal. This was the sixth trial Tang Sang encountered on his journey, falling into the pit and losing two disciples. After Bear Mountain King and Taichushi enjoyed their feast, they wiped their mouths and exchanged some polite words before leaving. General Yin and the other demons, having worked hard all night, were exhausted and went to bed. Tang Sang was left alone in the cave, filled with dread at the thought of being eaten by the demons when they woke up. At that moment, an old man with a white beard appeared out of nowhere, untied the ropes, and rescued Tang Sang. This old man was none other than the Jade Emperor's senior celestial minister, Bai Jinxing, also known as Li Chongging. Seeing that Tang Sang was trembling with fear and worried that he might abandon his quest due to the psychological trauma, Bai Jinxing reassured him, "Don't worry. Although there will be many dangers on your journey, the immortals will always be there to help you. Stay encouraged." With that, he mounted his white crane and soared into the sky. Tang Sang, deeply grateful for his narrow escape, felt immense relief. However, as he watched Bai Jinxing disappear into the distance and found himself alone in the desolate wilderness, he was overcome with a profound sense of loneliness. But soon he would encounter his most reliable ally on the journey, the Monkey King, son Wukong. Indeed, if General Yin and Bear Mountain King hadn't eaten Tang Sang's disciples, he would have never recruited new ones. Without those unique and powerful companions along the journey, the story of the journey to the West wouldn't be as captivating.